Where to next?
What was that?
Okay. Hello. Hopefully, everything is functional. Thank you for joining me. So I'm Christine Tomlinson, and I'm going to be doing a little bit of Baldur's Gate 3 play. I have mostly set up my characters so that you don't have to watch me mess with character settings and all of that. And then we're going to just dive into the game and see how far we can get in the next hour or so. But before we do that, just a couple of notes. So this is a Sasa stream. If you're watching it, you're probably familiar, but just in case, this is related to Save Ancient Studies. We're working to promote the study of the ancient world and engagement with our human deeper past. The goal of this alliance is to build grassroots movements through outreach, collaboration, accessibility, and public scholarship, and we're working toward our goal of inspiring a wide, inclusive community of scholars and learners. Um, had to do one more thing that I forgot. This is my first stream with Sasa, so I'm getting used to it. Apologies for any um, issues that we might experience. There's also the possibility for tech issues, which I'll talk about a little bit more in a second, just in case things come up. But here are some places that you can find Sasa if you want to follow the organization, see what's going on, what kinds of events are being put on, what things you might be able to participate in. And also, in terms of live event protocol, please be kind and respectful. Feel free to hop in with questions throughout the event. So, if you notice anything, or you want to share your experience with Baldur's Gate 3, or if you want to just discuss how history fits into all of this, feel free to add comments, and I'm going to be keeping an eye on those while I play. Also, please be patient with technology and those administering it. There's always the possibility that technology might fail us because that is something that is somewhat common. Technology is great, but also sometimes the worst. So Sasa Archeo Gaming Live is streamed on Twitch, where you're watching this now, but recordings will be posted on the YouTube channel shortly after the event. And as with any gameplay, spoiler alerts, there might be stuff that you don't know yet if you haven't played the game. So please keep that in mind. And with that, I am going to attempt to actually hop into this. So, here is the game, and it seems like things are working. Desktop audio included. So if there is an issue, you're going to notice as I'm moving stuff around, the desktop audio is going to stop, but I want to make sure that I can see anyone's comments in the chat, just in case anyone wants to chat and add questions or add experiences. So we have my character here. I'm just going to be playing a custom character. Could have played an origin character, but I decided to go with custom one. I'm playing as a half-elf with the subrace Wood Half-Elf. I'm going to be playing as a rogue. We're probably not going to get far enough for me to multi-class, but if I could, it would probably be as a bard. I've chosen the background of entertainer, and you'll see I've kind of played around with my stats a little bit because I prefer to have a little bit more in intelligence and charisma than would usually come with a rogue character. I was going to play around with appearance a little bit just to see what options I have. I already did some scars on the face. I think I kind of want green eyes just because. And the millions of hair options. Honestly, this hair is not too bad. One thing that I think is interesting, so obviously this is Archeo Gaming Live, we're dealing with history. There are some really interesting elements of history that come along with games like this. So we have this kind of medieval setting, and we have some unique things that happen when we deal with that. I'll talk a little bit more about things like reception studies, for example, how we have to kind of shift things a little bit to make it make sense for contemporary audiences. So this is a fantasy setting that's very reminiscent of medieval history as we know it, but there are also historical elements that harken back to ancient societies and ancient contributions to culture that we're very familiar with. So, with that in mind, I'll stick with this. This is fine. I don't need to change anything else. So we're going to go ahead and proceed and hop into the game. I'm just going to go with the default name of Tav.
You need a guardian.
Oh, that's right. I forgot about the Guardian. This is how they get you. Who do I want as my Guardian? Maybe a Tiefling. I'm not going to get too fancy with this. I've already played the game, so... If you haven't, there are ways that you can adjust the Guardian. Am I happy with this? I don't like this one. Yeah, okay. I'm not gonna make us sit through that, so this is fine. Venture forth. I have a Guardian now. So we can see a lot of very familiar architecture in this introduction. Some familiar weaponry and armor choices in terms of design. interrupt things too much. But there's this cool blending of fantasy elements and things that we recognize from, like, medieval European architecture, for example. And I'll talk a little bit more about this spaceship that we see and how this imagining of technology in the context of this world makes technology take a really specific form. Okay, so now that we're out of the intro, we see a lot of cool stuff going on. And the really interesting thing about Baldur's Gate 3 is obviously it's based in D&D. We're working with something that is fictional, it's fantasy, but there's a lot of meshing of different things going on here. So when we look at examples of what modernity, for example, looks like in this game, it is, like I said, very reminiscent of medieval Europe. We see a lot of those familiar pieces of architecture. We see buildings that look a lot like what we would study if we're looking at historical examples from European countries. Um, I'll give it a second for my character to kind of wake up and hop in. Okay. Okay. Sure. Okay. So the weird thing about this is that we're dealing with something that looks very historical, and then you have to wonder, how do we handle things like technology? How do we handle things like um, what would be considered a more advanced. Oh, and also, I see someone subscribed. Thank you very much, Max KG. I hope it's okay to mention you. um, but thank you very much for the subscription. Um, when we're looking at how we deal with technology, the stuff that's modern in the context of the characters that we're dealing with, the world that we're interacting with, um, it's based in magic. So magic replaces a lot of what we would see as technology. If we were playing something like a sci-fi game, that would look very different. We still have a lot of magic, but then it's explained as advanced technologies. Here, advanced technology is very biological. We're inside a ship that is effectively also a living being. Like, we'll see that there are, and there's no other way to put this, sphincters, that is the technical biological term. This is what doorways are inside this spaceship. And so we have this alien race of creatures that is using something that is well outside of the experience of most of the characters that we're going to be encountering and interacting with. But it is this biologically based thing rather than something that's technologically or science based, the way that we would understand it in our world. So with that in mind, I have to remember how to play this game,
Another
because it's
step
been a
forward.
while. Oh yeah, I can't resist
This is
poking
the
the
pool
nursery.
that thing came from. The parasite now writhing behind your eye.
Okay, I always do this, and I don't know why. That's just something in me that needs to destroy, I think. And I know it hurts my character, but I can't help it. So here we are. I've destroyed a piece of alien technology.
Let's
I
have a
also
look.
enjoy looting, so you're gonna have to put up with that. What's this? Oh, it's onyx. Okay,
Dead.
I'll take that.
Good.
Alright, so this I can heal with because I made
Seems
mistakes, as you do.
I feel better.
I'm probably missing some stuff. I'm gonna have to remind myself how to highlight things. But we also have a lot of very reminiscent, like I said, reminiscent things with weapons that we recognize. Mostly, again, from more of a medieval period, but depending on the character that you're playing as, like if we encounter or play as druids, we're going to see a lot of what we would consider further back historical clothing, for example. So, like, armor, if it's medieval, is going to look like that kind of classic, bulky armor that we recognize, potentially with helmets, from mostly, again, European history. But if we're dealing with druids, it looks quite a bit older than that. We're getting... Oh, yes! Uh, let's see. Does it do it? Thank you, Aegis. That is useful, because I forgot, and I didn't practice. Um, so we're gonna do a little bit of exploration here. The game is also kind of creepy in a lot of ways. Um, it has these very uncomfortable elements, which we're going to experience in a moment here if you're not familiar with it. So we're gonna check out this this body that is whispering to us.
Yes, you've come to save us from this place. From this place you'll free us.
The exposed brain quivers in expectation.
Please. Before they return. They return.
Alright, so how do I want to approach this? I'll be a little bit logical about it. This doesn't seem good.
Remove us from this body. From this case. Free us. Please.
Alright, so now I have some options, and I have to know who my character is, and I know that I have the most points in dexterity, so we're gonna go with that one. And hope for the best. But there's always the possibility of a crit fail. Sweet.
The brain lifts from the skull, but you notice an opportunity. You could cripple the strange creature, making it more subservient, should it prove a threat.
No, I don't want to do that. So we're just gonna keep this little brain friend intact.
Free. Our freedom is ours, friend.
The creature pauses, listening. Something behind your eyes seizes in recognition.
We must go to the helm. At the helm, we are needed.
I'll be friendly. I'll ask. Narrator's voice acting, yes, it's very good. So we do have effectively what is a DM, so we are experiencing a lot of that D&D or Dungeons and Dragons experience with this. So I'll ask my new friend. What should I call you?
We are us.
And we're gonna be BFFs. So all right, let's
To the helm
go.
we go. We are going to the helm.
All right, so we have a new friend. We've got a companion who I hopefully will not destroy in the course of trying to get out of the ship. Oh, friend's gonna have to figure out a different way down. Actually can? Oh, nice. I actually didn't even know that. Alright, so we're gonna have a cutscene kind of thing soon. Is there anything worth checking out in this incredibly on fire destroyed room? I think there's some stuff, but that's alright. Now I just have to hope that I don't die a million times in the first fight. There's a lot going on out here.
Abomination. This is your end. Your head throbs and your skin tingles. Visions rush past. A dragon's wing, a silver sword, and a flash of your face seen through the strange woman's eyes. Ugh. My head. What is this? Ugh. Skvar. You are no thrall. Vlaakith blesses me this day. Together, we might survive.
I will ask, who are you?
Who am I? Your only chance of survival.
I could also ask, like, I would probably be curious, why did you think that I was a thrall?
We carry mind flayer parasites. Unless we escape, unless we are cleansed, our bodies and minds will be tainted and twisted. Within days, we will be Geich, mind flayers.
So, just like as a side note, we do have some interesting differences here. So, as a Githyanki, Lae'zel's armor looks quite a bit different from my character's armor. So my character's armor is, again, very reminiscent of those time periods that we were talking about with medieval history, but being that Lae'zel is from a totally different planet, we see that she has some different adornments in terms of what she's working with, but her weaponry still looks very familiar, and even this different armor is drawing from what we would see historically. So we see kind of like a dragon scale chainmail thing going on here, in addition to some of these a little bit more advanced looking pieces of armor that are attached as well. We're still using a lot of leather work, which is interesting, so both of us have that leather-based armor. I'm not playing as a warrior or anything like that. I don't have any need for really heavy armor. I have a lighter armor to medium armor. But we do see some of these differences, and obviously there are other differences that come with the Githyanki's as well. I see. What is that? Aegis? Brains? Yes, brain slug, brain worms. We are all dealing with brain worms in this game. Another thing that is not wholly historically inaccurate, because that is a thing that can happen, but a little bit different in execution here, obviously. But the Githyanki also use, as their modes of transportation and during fights, dragons. So we have that high fantasy element that's combining a lot of things that we recognize from older stories across a variety of different cultures, but executing it in a very specific way. Alright, so I'm gonna go ahead and say we're turning into mind flayers. There has to be something that we can do.
We can do nothing until we escape. That must be our priority. First, we exterminate the imps. Then we find the helm and take control of the ship.
As for that thing, it will remain tame as long as it believes we are thralls. It may be of use in the fight to come.
They're just hungry little guys. Okay. So, we have some enemies. Obviously turn-based combat, so this is going to be a very specific kind of fight. But I can't not loot. Sweet. Okay.
Try me.
I'll go for this guy. Nice. So far, so okay. I could sell it. I'll take that. Okay, now I have to remember how to end my turn. There we go. Who am I now? I am my little brain friend. We're gonna attack this guy. We have a 100% chance. Very strong brain friend. And then, not enough movement. Alright, so Lae'zel's just gonna have to advance and end the turn. I'll remember how to play this game. Probably.
Hope your soul is in good hands.
You proved surprisingly adequate in battle.
All I can ask for is to be surprisingly adequate.
To the hell.
Okay.
Open up.
Gold!
Here we go.
I don't know that any of us, we don't really need any healing, but we're gonna do it anyway.
Ship won't be able to take another dragon attack. We need to get out before it's too late. Best be on my way.
We have a lot of action going on in the background here. Actually, did I miss Shadowheart? I don't know. I don't think so. Shadowheart's back here. Okay. Like I said, it's been a whole minute.
I can make no sense of it.
You! Get me out of this damn thing!
We have no time for stragglers.
Okay, so I'll look for a latch, even though I know what's gonna happen here.
The construction is too alien. Nothing looks familiar.
This ship is crashing. Do you intend to die for a stranger?
Absolutely. Gonna look around.
Try that contraption next to the pod. They did something to it when they sealed me in. Hurry! Please!
Okay, so I know what's gonna happen, but we'll go over here to this very strange
appears dormant.
console. I actually don't know what happens if I hit it. I wanna try it.
Nothing. The console remains dormant.
That's not a hit, that's a kick. Okay. So we're gonna look
The
for a switch.
mechanisms are completely unrecognizable at first, but then you spy an empty socket.
Okay. So now I know I am missing some pieces. I can't walk. I think the key is. I'm gonna take this. Here's the thing about when I play games like this. I will always try to have too many things in my inventory. And this playthrough will be no different. A key. We can watch this horrifying thing after I go up here.
How many hosts of these gay infected?
Another brain.
Loot is my favorite. Okay.
There's controls next to the pod.
Alright, we're gonna just touch things that we don't understand. We're all loot goblins here. Exactly.
As you place your hand on the pod, you hear something. A presence connected to the pod, commanding the person inside to change.
Change her. Changed at the pull of a lever. How? If we are not purified, this may be our fate.
So we're having a bad time. Alright, so we are just gonna go ahead and... I think I got what I needed for Shadowheart. I hope I did.
The console appears dormant.
Did I miss it? Okay, no. I got a rune.
The console hums to life. But what is its purpose? Will it free the captive or transform her like that other unfortunate?
You'd have to feel really, really bad if this transformed her because you're trying to free her. Also, yes, the transformation does not look like a good time. So I could... This is risky. Okay. Nice.
The pulsing glow and organic lines of the device make it seem more like a beating heart than a machine. This device is different from the one that caused the other captive to transform. Perhaps it will open the nearby pod.
Okay, so we're gonna go ahead and try to free a new
Suddenly,
companion.
you feel a hideous squirming in your head. The parasite. Then discomfort fades, and another sensation washes over you. Connection. Authority.
Okay, let's... difficulty of 2, so... Okay, that was close! We didn't crit fail, though. That's all we can ask for.
You feel the biomechanical brain of the console process your command and yield to it. A shiver runs across your mind. You feel sated.
Alright, new companion.
I thought that damn thing was going to be my coffin. Thank you.
Your mind lurches into her thoughts. You feel her gratitude, but also guardedness. And above all, a will to survive.
Ah, my head.
Okay, so we are... I could ask. That feels like a reasonable thing to wonder. Did you feel that? We were in each other's heads?
I did. It must be because of those parasites they put in us. We need to deal with that. First, we have to get off this thing. Let's join up.
So again, just sort of pointing out some of these elements. We do have this kind of fantasy theming that's going on with Shadowheart's armor, but we also see chainmail, and we see a lot of leather work, so we're getting back to that meshing of different approaches of how we design things. So we see very realistic and kind of recognizable forms of armor, but we also see these kinds of artistic flair or attributes that are attached to it. So I'm gonna bring Shadowheart with me because I don't want to be a jerk.
Shadowheart. One moment.
I would be curious, so I'm gonna go ahead and ask, what's that?
It's nothing. Trust me.
Enough of this chatter. We need to get to the helm. Now.
She's right. Lead on.
Okay, so I know that each of the things on the other console in here does something different, but I don't remember what's what.
Another mystery.
Cool.
Can't read the script.
Great. Perfect. Lots of failed rolls. I'm gonna push this one. I'd hope for the best.
Psionic energy radiates from the prisoners, but they do not react.
Okay. This one? Whoops. Huh. Okay. Well, I didn't have to fight anyone. Loot. Also loot. I don't need a... I could get 1 gold for it. Alright. So we're gonna take the mug I absolutely don't need. We are all doing okay in terms of health. So we're gonna go through yet another sphincter. That's what the designers decided to do. Alright.
Mind flayer horticulture.
So not a lot to see here. Could heal, but I don't need it. So we're gonna go through here.
We are nearing the helm. Once inside, do as I say.
Who put you in charge? I'll trust my own judgment.
Cane yank.
Alright, so this is where things are probably not gonna go well. I'm gonna save my game. New save. This is fine. Okay. It did auto-save, but yeah. Saves upon saves.
Connect the nerves of the transponder. We must escape. Now.
Do it. We will deal with the Geich after we escape.
Connect the nerves. Nerves. We will connect them.
Okay, so here is where everything is going to go terribly. 85%, and I have to walk through fire. Okay. Loot? Nothing. Why is there nothing? Alright, on my turn. Little brain guy, 100%. Sounds good. Not bad, little brain guy. What are we working with here? I guess I just need to advance and then end my turn. Ranged weapons
Heading there.
would be good. However, do not have
These
that.
brutes have seen everything.
Okay. We're just gonna keep getting closer. We're basically just gonna be waiting until I get to a part that I really want to talk about. Once we're through this kind of intro tutorial portion, which this might actually mostly take the rest of my stream time, unfortunately. Okay, what can I do here? I can have 100% there, 50%. But he is like the big bad. I'll take this guy out first.
Ugh, time for some
I don't know if
bloody-
it's the right decision, but this is what I'm doing. I've committed to it. Oh, little brain guy! I don't want to hurt the little brain guy. I want to make sure that my BFF survives somehow. Alright, what have we got? Not enough movement, but we have... 40%? Yeah, okay. Well, that was predictable.
To me. Connect the transponder.
It is also interesting that, so we have these mind flayers who have this biological technology, and they seem to have some kind of power. They seem to have some kind of innate magic in them to fight, but for the most part, we're seeing a lot of like hand-to-hand combat, a lot of those really familiar weapons, even if we're dealing with these alien species. So we have this mixture again of this unfamiliar versus familiar. Okay, at least I landed a hit on that. 50%. Excellent. Okay, that worked. Little brain guy, I don't want to lose you. 45%. That's wild. I was right there. There's no reason for that.
We must take the transponder.
I know. But once I get up there, things
My
get
path is
problematic.
true.
What's this? Jade? Alright. Mm. 25%? Okay, at least it hit him. Okay. Ah, that was 75% I missed! That's not okay. I feel like I really should be focusing on getting my characters up here, but there are going to be new enemies.
Hurry, before they strike.
Yeah, I'm not gonna go for the shiny, exciting sword, I don't think. Just because that's like a lot of work. So I'm working my way over here. Let's see. Should I just stick to this? Maybe? I'll stick to this. And I missed anyway. Oh well. That's fine. This is fine. I wonder if am I engaged with... I can run! Alright.
One day I'll catch a break.
Cool. One of us will get over there. Don't really have a lot of options here. It's like the least exciting battle. Oops. Well, this is probably okay, maybe? I have no idea.
What's the plan?
Let's try this again. Watch me fail this because I'm streaming. At least that guy missed. That was rude.
With haste.
Not enough. Oh, 85%? Maybe? Sweet. Oh, this is not fair to my little brain friend. It's not fair at all. Oh, I lost him. I knew it would happen. I'm very sad about it. How do I want to do this? I guess I could do that.
Make way. Focus.
Not enough movement, of course. Let's see. Made it with a 50%. Can I make it? Cannot make it.
Very well.
But at least I killed the other guys that were here. There we go. Made it to the transponder.
The Helm's alien transponder. You made it in time.
Also, thank you for the sub, Aegis. Appreciated. Okay, so we made it for the through the first battle, which is good. I was convinced I wouldn't. Now we get to wait for loading. There is some also kind of interesting stuff that is Dante's Inferno-esque going on with the Hells. So we have a setting that we don't get to engage with a whole lot, but we do know some information. Yeah, I know, the brain buddy, we lost him. I was so sad about it. Um, Chat's a little bit behind where I'm at. Just because, you know, streaming and things. But yes, so we have this Dante's Inferno-esque situation where we have the hells, we have layers of hell, we have different creatures that exist within it, although it's quite a bit different from how we usually think about the hells. These are a setting that has its own species that live within it. We're also encountering some other fantasy species. This is just like a really rough day. Not a good time.
As you wake, the tadpole squirms in your skull.
Alright, so what would I do in this situation? I mean, if I'm standing up, I'm probably okay, so like, where am I?
The chaos of the crash site confuses the landscape. You'll need to find a settlement or landmark, and you'll need to do it quickly. The tadpole is a death sentence, and the clock is ticking. You need a cure.
Okay, so now we have exited the unfamiliar bio-based technology. We can see a tentacle here from the crash. We have a lot of destruction. But we're also going to start seeing some things that are, yet again, a little bit more familiar. While I loot. Okay, so there's Shadowheart. I don't see anything else immediately, so we're gonna go talk to her. Don't think armor would move like that, but I'm not an expert on that. So I won't be rude. I'll try to wake her up.
You're alive. I'm alive. How is this possible?
I don't know why I would assume that she would know.
True. Seems like we're the lucky ones, judging by all the corpses strewn about. I remember the ship. I remember falling. Then nothing.
So I know that the Githyanki are a hot button issue for Shadowheart, so I will ask, now what?
First things first. We need supplies, shelter, and most of all, a healer. We might have escaped, but we still have these little monsters in our heads.
I'll ask.
No, I don't recognize this place. But anything's an improvement on where we just came from.
So, we want to stay together?
We need each other, and we both know what's at stake. Can't think of better company.
Alright, so I'm gonna say alright. I don't want to be mean and lose a companion.
One thing, just before we go. I wanted to thank you again for freeing me. It would have been all too easy for you to run right past my pod, but you didn't. I'll remember that. Lead the way.
Alright, so now we have a companion, and now I have to remember where everyone else is. And I know that there's a lot of stuff around here, and I can get a silly hat. And that's important to me. So that's what I'm gonna do. Ah, that's not the hat I was looking for, but I could get gold for it. Oh, nothing in the wooden barrel.
What's hiding here?
It just seems like it was a really bad time here. I feel partially responsible. I'm gonna go look in this bucket of fish, as you do. Shanties.
There must be a settlement nearby.
I don't know if it's got language. Sorry. Language warning. After the fact. So we have things like shanties. We have a lot of, here we go, some architecture. That is, again, fairly familiar. We see a lot of things that are looking like things that we would see historically. Also, yes, so we've got squid things happening. Thank you, Aegis, for the emotes. I actually don't remember what the deal is with this, so I'm gonna come over here and take a look. Ancient door. So what would be behind the ancient door?
Won't get that open easily. Maybe there's another entrance.
And it is interesting that it uses things like ancient. We are dealing with a circumstance where there is history here. So there's historical background that is within the world that's been created. We have ancient sigil circle. So now we have a waypoint that we have discovered. Now I'm gonna get to work trying to figure out where my other companions are.
More of those wretched things.
I don't think the little brain guys are wretched. I think they're kind of cute. 95%. Pretty good.
Another day, another fight.
Ah. Except for I didn't get to go first.
Better stay back. One
Here we
strike
go.
would be lethal.
Oh, end turn. Alright. We're doing okay, though. Right for Shadowheart. Interesting choice.
Quick.
I'll probably save my level ups for next time, because we are gonna wrap the stream up shortly here. You know, I get that the brains probably wouldn't have anything on them because they're brains, but it's still a little disappointing that I can't loot them.
You fight well. Perhaps our survival isn't such a distant prospect.
My character's not doing so good. Alright,
Something to do here, I hope.
these things can be blown up, which is fun. What do we got here? Okay. That's pretty cool.
What's inside?
It's a really weird way to say that. What's inside? This is a body. Ooh, camp supplies. A better weapon than I have. Again, drawing from historical weapons that are very familiar. We have a rapier. Do I want to swap that out? I might just wait until next time to swap things out, because I'll advance us a little bit more and just see what... I could sell this for 1 gold. Is it worth it? I do need some healing potions. I would like some bombs. There we go. All better. Okay. A
One day I'll
believe
catch a break.
we're coming up on Astarion, which will open an opportunity for me to talk about reception studies for like 2 seconds, and then we'll talk about it a little bit more next time. I'm planning on doing a few streams of this. Okay, 5 gold. That's pretty good. I don't remember what else is around here. I do have some
Wish I had a bag of holding.
materials. I love that comment. For people unfamiliar, Bag of Holding is something from D&D, which is sort of like an endlessly fillable bag that you can use. I know there's stuff around, but I'm not gonna... I won't mess with it. So we're gonna go this way. I don't totally remember how this encounter goes, but I do hear Astarion. Here he is. It's not a great way to meet someone.
Hurry! I've got one of those brain things cornered. There, in the grass. You can kill it, can't you? Like you killed the others?
So I'm gonna be nice, even though I know
Can you see it?
I can't really trust Astarion.
Not a sound. Not if you want to keep that darling neck of yours. And you, keep your distance. No need for this to get messy.
I need him alive. Stow that blade, or I'll show you just how messy things can get.
Ah, promises, promises. But I have other business, I'm afraid. Now, I saw you on the ship, didn't I? Nod?
I'm curious. I don't think this is gonna go well, but I just want to see what happens. Headbutt. Ooh, this is gonna be a whole thing. Yes! Nice. I don't think I'm gonna be making friends with him based on this, but...
Oh, you son of a...
Your mind twists. You're looking out of unfamiliar eyes, prowling dark, busy streets. You try to hold the memory, but it fades to the worm. The light, the fear.
What was that? What's going on?
So, just a note on kind of the design. We see that Astarion looks very different from the other characters that we've encountered, and even our own character. He has somewhat armor, but it looks more aristocratic for the character that he is supposed to be, or the character he's posing to be. And something that I want to talk about a little bit more next time is the idea of reception studies. When we're looking at historical content, or we're considering retellings of ancient stories, or even just more recent historical stories, one of the things that we have to keep in mind is how these things connect with an audience. And so when we're playing games like Baldur's Gate 3, we see a lot of these very familiar historical elements in weapons, in clothing, in architecture that we encounter, but the language is not as hedged in history in comparison. Part of the reason for that is that things need to be salient or be able to resonate with the audience, and it's very difficult for contemporary audiences to feel like that kind of thing is accessible or comfortable or understandable. And so if we compare this to something like Pentiment, for example, Pentiment has a lot of artwork and a lot of language and even illustrations of writing that are much more akin to what we would see as historically accurate for a medieval period. Here, though, we hear a lot more modern or contemporary use of language, because that's going to be something that's a little bit more accessible and understandable. We want to have content, interpersonal dynamics, and conversations that people feel like they can recognize, and that's going to make it a little bit easier to access and probably broaden the audience. I'll talk more about reception studies next time. We'll finish this, and then I'll kind of do a little bit of a wrap up for us. So what's going on? Um, I'll mention the Mind Flayer's worm. Astarion doesn't seem to really know what's going on.
The worm. Of course. That explains things somewhat. And to think, I was ready to decorate the ground with your innards. Apologies.
So, I'll be friendly. I know that this is a little bit of a boost with my relationship with Astarion, so I'll accept the apology and say I would have done the same, even though I probably wouldn't have.
A kindred spirit. My name's Astarion. I was in Baldur's Gate when those beasts snatched me.
So I suppose I will just introduce myself.
Is that so? We clearly move in different circles. So, do you know anything about these worms?
I mean, yeah, I should probably tell him what's going to happen to us if we don't solve this issue.
Turn us into... Of course it'll turn me into a monster. What else did I expect? Although, it hasn't happened yet. If we can find an expert, someone that can control these things, there might still be time.
So, yeah, I'll say travel with me. We're probably better off.
I was ready to go this alone, but maybe sticking with the herd isn't such a bad idea. And you seem like a useful person to know. All right. I accept. Lead on.
Okay, so I have some leveling up to do next time, but I'm going to save that. I have no idea why the camera just went all the way over there. Ooh, we get to travel through trees. It's like a nice little nature walk. Okay, so I will get this saved and we'll pick up in my next stream, which is planned for next Thursday. In the meantime, though, I want to go back with a couple of additional notes for us. If I can, where is... Here it is. And I'm gonna turn off my camera because I'm blocking things. So thank you for joining me today. I really appreciate it. I do want to note, if you enjoy these live events, including this, which is Archeo Gaming, any of the book clubs that Sasa has, reading groups, please consider becoming a supporter of SASA with a recurring monthly donation. For as little as $3 a month, you can help save ancient studies. You can also subscribe on Twitch for free through your Amazon account, and thank you again to those who subscribed during this session.